You know, a lot of people are giving Chris Pratt shit for saying that he practiced his Mario voice for ages and he was really proud of it. But cut him some slack. It'd take me months of practice to sound like Chris Pratt as well. Fair play to the man. You alright? I'm Tracer's arse now. Had fun animating that one, Justin! I remember a time when updating a game to show less of a video game character's arse was about the only time Blizzard could earn a modicum of criticism from the hardcore gamer set. Well, how times have changed. Well. 2016 was a long time ago. I mean, I had a lot less hair back then. Thanks, HRT. And in the years since the release of the original Overwatch, Blizzard has done an impressive job of utterly tanking its credibility, cashing it in, well, quite literally for cash. Of course, some of us saw Activision Blizzard for what it really was back in the day, and we tried to warn you. I tried to warn you, and not everybody wanted to listen, did they? Well, they're listening now. Well, they're not listening to this channel now, obviously. Thanks again, HRT. I just want it known as a matter of record that I called it, that the point I made of calling them Activision Blizzard as far back as 2016 was justified. Now do please enjoy the following video while I continue nursing a sore throat, blocked sinuses, and the fact that I was kicked incredibly hard in the lumbar during a wrestling match I had last night. Fucking ow. Activision Blizzard can go fuck itself into a hole of shit. Forever. If I've not made my stance on this fuck pit of a corporation clear enough over years of tearing apart its business decisions, insulting its leadership, documenting its unethical profiteering and tax dodging, and expressing horror at its abusive working conditions, allow me to reiterate. I'm not particularly fond. I've not played a game published by Activision Blizzard since 2020 now, and I will not do so for at least as long as Bobby Kotick remains a part of that company. Until he's ousted, there's no chance of beginning to believe that the abuse, discrimination, and corruption he happily oversaw and took part in will ever improve, despite any bullshit propaganda spewed by himself or the fellow executives who circled the wagons to protect him when the extent of Activision Blizzard's cruelty first made headlines. All this is to say that while everyone else has been playing Overwatch 2, I took the opportunity to finally do something I've been putting off since the mid-2000s, and finally played more than an hour of Condemned Criminal Origins. I beat it, in fact! Round of applause for me. And holy fuck, that's a game in which you just murder dozens upon dozens of drug addicts without any question, huh? Like, they're literally called addicts, and that's presented as justification enough for stoving their fucking skulls in with a shovel and getting your choice of 4 brutal finishers when they're battered down to their underprivileged knees, huh? But anyway, while I could spend all day talking about how Condemned is an interesting case study in the shifting values of popular culture and the media that both informs and is informed by it, for the purposes of today I'd like to say that I had a far better time problematically violencing my way through Condemned than I would have done playing Overwatch 2. A game I'd find far more problematic to engage with considering the monsters who run the company behind it. Nevertheless, while Overwatch 2 is unsurprisingly doing big numbers and making money the way all Activision games make money now, through aggressive, disgusting monetization, it's definitely not released to the same glowing acclaim and uncritical love that the first one did. And as someone who did love the original Overwatch but got a lot of shit from the gaming community for daring to question its popularization of predatory loot boxes, I have to say that watching Blizzard burn all of its goodwill in the years between then and now to the point that Overwatch 2 is mired in controversy and outrage lights the tiniest ember of warmth in my bitter, resentful heart. If you've been tracking Blizzard's trajectory as long as I have, Overwatch's descent into the excesses of freemium slog come as precisely zero surprise. Overwatch 2 is free to play, and very much like Blizzard's last monument to shameless fucking greed, Diablo Immortal, it's an absolute fucking grind fest as a result. While Overwatch 2 does away with the very loot boxes its predecessor turned into a mainstream blight, it's still utterly laden with microtransactions and obligatory battle pass shenanigans. Progress is excruciatingly slow, and the grinding required to unlock things without spending real money are beyond exorbitant. According to one fan's calculations, unlocking a single character's cosmetics without buying the premium currency would take around 5 fucking years. You'd need to spend 260 weeks pummeling the game's weekly challenges for a reward of 60 coins apiece to unlock the 15,600 coins required to get all the gear for the player's example character, Kiriko. And I am shocked by how I'm not shocked at any of this anymore. It's just not a surprise anymore that a game expects you to grind for 5 years to unlock something, or more realistically expects you to cave in the 5 years between now and then. With its Fortnite-esque rotating store, shitty fucking battle pass that you can naturally pay to skip levels in, limited time items, bundling of items, mobile-style transactions that reach as high as $99.99 per purchase, Overwatch 2 is really only missing those loot boxes to be a who's who of despicably manipulative freemium tactics. On top of that, it's got its own suite of controversies that have further soured the game's reputation. The fact that brand new Overwatch 2 accounts will have to grind to unlock original characters from the first game as part of a contrived onboarding process has pissed off plenty of people. But even more infuriating was the revelation that Overwatch 2 required SMS text verification to even play, a plan that had to be stepped back from after a massive amount of quite justified backlash for its horrible and fucking discriminatory implementation. In order to access Overwatch 2 at all, players were expected to provide a mobile number for text verification, similar to many methods of two-factor authentication found on social media. Blizzard justified this as a necessary step in combating disruptive behaviour and to stop users evading bans. However, it essentially locked out anybody without ready access to a mobile phone, which, while that might not be a huge amount of people these days, is still some people, and I think they deserve to play a fucking game whether they have a phone or not. Or maybe Blizzard's just being a little on the nose about how much like a mobile game all of its fucking output is now. Even worse was that prepaid phones were excluded from the verification process. If you were on a pay-as-you-go plan, you were shit out of luck! Overwatch 2 was not going to let you in. You needed a contract on your phone, or Overwatch 2 would treat you like someone who'd basically just dodged bans with a quick SIM card pulled from the newsagents round the corner. And while there's a case to be made that a ban evader could go to that effort, it's hardly justification for the fact that prepaid phones are very commonly used by people who aren't exactly flush with cash, and that Overwatch 2 was basically discriminating against poor people in its paranoid bid to outthink disruptive users. I mean, considering how poorly Activision Blizzard pays some of its own fucking employees, to the point where some can't even afford the staff cafeteria, you'd think they'd have seen that one coming. Or maybe they just didn't fucking care. Oh right, it's that one, they just didn't fucking care. In any case, Blizzard had to pivot on this one after fan outcry because it was fucking bullshit. While not scrapping the idea entirely, it's been altered so that existing Battle.net users who have played Overwatch previously will no longer need a number, so at the very least older players aren't being locked out. Nonetheless, fucking clueless misstep. Overwatch 2 is naturally being review bombed to fucking back on places like Metacritic, where the user score currently sits at a whopping 1.3 out of 10. And when I compare all of this to the heady days of 2016, where I was told to stop criticising Overwatch because it wasn't that bad, because I was making mountains out of molehills, catastrophising, because while Activision is bad, Blizzard is still its own company and doesn't deserve to be associated with them, all I can do is laugh. Ha. Huh. I guess I'm such a joyless fucking husk I can't even do that now. I was right. Back when I blamed Overwatch for doing for loot boxes what Resident Evil did for survival horror, I was told off by huge amounts of gamers. There was a concerted push in some parts of the community to rebrand loot boxes as Wilson boxes, so named after EA CEO Andrew Wilson. The idea was to predominantly associate them with FIFA. No doubt a huge part of why loot boxes became so successful, but FIFA did not have the impact on their wider adoption that Overwatch did. Whenever I pointed this out, however, however, I was told that Blizzard was effectively blameless, and that my very deliberate insistence on calling it Activision Blizzard was unfair to a great and honourable studio. Fast forward to 2022, a year that gave us the disgusting Diablo Immortal, and a game that has liberally torched the goodwill of its predecessor in Overwatch 2. Blizzard and Activision have become indistinguishable because they were always the fucking same. They have a shared leadership that got taken to court because they abused and mistreated their workers that fucking badly. Games that come from any studio under Activision's corporate umbrella are overly monetized exercises in wanton predation and exploitation of vulnerable players. And once again, Stephanie Sterling, the Cassandra of video games, was proven right as the rest of the world caught up to the facts and realised that no, Blizzard is not an untouched angel whose purity remained in spite of Activision's acquisition. It is Activision. It is Activision Blizzard. By the way, Activision Blizzard withheld raises from the QA testers at Raven Software who successfully campaigned to form a union this year. Did you know that? Fucking cunt. God, my throat is sore. It is a miracle I've still got a voice. If any of you have seen me do my whole wrestling shit, like, you'll know I do this, like, big, long, shouty promo, like a ring introduction that I do before every match I have, and I was already nursing a sore throat, and I went and did it with Warhorse. It was actually really cool and fun, but, oh god, it feels like I've swallowed a whole bunch of those Kaplunk sticks. Do you remember Kaplunk? Thank god I'm on a bit of a break now before my next match on November 4th in Leeds. Quick plug. And of course, thank God for me. We can't forget that bit now, can we? And thank you to everyone in 2016 who didn't give me shit and told me I was making mountains out of molehills and told me that Blizzard could do no fucking wrong. And of course, thank you to all of the lovely Patreons at patreon.com/Jimquisition for allowing me to make it my job to be incredibly fucking right about everything all of the time. And that's about all the time we have for now. I mean, technically it's not, because YouTube videos can be any length, really, can't they? But I'm not one of them ones that do 3-hour-long videos, because I've got other shit to do, like watch 3-hour-long video breakdowns of Deus Ex Human Revolution. Shit, I don't really have a life, do I? Bye!